Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shantae Out Loud's YouTube channel. It's me, Shantae Out Loud, and today we are going to talk about the Virgo full moon. To kind of preface what I'm going to be showing you when I pull the chart, I want to just talk about the Virgo full moon as a whole. Like, this Virgo full moon energy is really, really strong. I know that I started feeling this energy really heavily on last Saturday. Just what some of the themes would be, what would be coming up across the board. And overall, one of the major themes of this Virgo full moon is grief. A lot of us will be experiencing some stark realizations that come with grief attached to them. And some of us are going to be kind of stopped in our tracks and forced to deal with some details that we've been ignoring or letting kind of fall, beneath the surface that are just going to be forced up and shown what has really been going on. So before I get started, I just want to say once again, my name is Shantae. I go by Shantae Out Loud. I am a practicing astrologer of 12 years who's been in business for the last 5. I am here to help you put the you back in your universe through showing you how to use your chart and maximize its optimal potential. So if you're interested in what I have to say here, feel free to read the links below and get all of the information that you need in order to book with me, patron with me, follow me across the board so you can take your astro knowledge to the next level. So back to this Virgo full moon, we are really undergoing quite a bit of heavy transits. I want to take a moment first to just share my screen with you and pull up my Astro Gold software. Let me go ahead and share it. So here we go. Let me make this big. All right. Can you tell I'm working on a Canva project? Anyway, let me go ahead and show you guys this. So this is the chart for Virgo full moon as it pertains to San Diego, California. That's where I am. So this is the time of the chart. It's going to happen overnight. So it's going to be a 4:30 in the morning chart, as you can see, based on San Diego, California time. And this is a whole sign tropical chart. So I will be reading based on what we see. This is a Capricorn rising chart. So as you can see, we are kind of finding the energy of the Pisces and Virgo axis here in between the 3rd and the 9th houses. So this really, once again, triggers another call to the carpet regarding communication. It also has a lot to do with transitions. I often see the 3rd house as an area of our lives where we're forced to think about things. It's the primary thought that precedes the actions that we're going to take that are going to get us eventually to the achievement and those reaching those goals, and the enlightenment based on the experience that occurs is here in the 9th house. So we're really being called to the carpet to consider, like, hey, how does what I am experiencing and thinking about in my daily reality, copulate and turn into something of measure or of merit, even better, another 9th house term, right? In regard to my future and what I see myself as being. So this is a big kind of shift of focus here. Some of you could be feeling it strongly, like, especially if you are Capricorn rising, and certainly if you have any planets that fall here in this chart. But anybody who, has kind of, and certainly if you're in your Saturn return, but a lot of this energy is, where are you going? Pisces is the sign of travel at the end of the day, and we're in a Pisces season. So we're thinking about where we've been. I see Piscean energy as a need or a sign that is heavily focused on integration, taking all of the steps, taking all of the things that it's accrued on its journey of, life or through its experiences, and really being able to integrate it into its reality and its sense of being and wholeness. So this is a time where we are going to be thinking about what we've been integrating, certainly over the last 12 months, right? This Virgo full moon does mark the final full moon of the astrological year. So this is the ending, certainly before we get a multitude of new beginnings as we look towards the eclipse season that will be inherent in throughout Aries season this year. So really driving into and up that focus. Once again, expression is big here. This is a mercurial full moon, ironically ruled by Mercury in Pisces, where Mercury is said to be debilitated. Debilitated planets are markers of astrology. We usually say Mercury in Virgo is an exaltation of Mercury because it's great at details, it's great at gathering information, it's great at study, it's great at sending information and moving it along. And when it's in Pisces, it's said to be debilitated because the nature of language is not so verbal. It's not so detail oriented. It can be more representative of a deep inner knowing, right? It is intuitive. It is emotional. It is understanding. It can create a narrative. This is why Pisces placements are our favorite artists out in the world. They're able to captivate emotions and feelings and thoughts and processes that people who don't have that same capacity are capable of. And to that degree, I do believe that this full moon is a perfect one for using, and a mode of expression that maybe isn't just calling your phone or hopping on with your therapist, but really sitting with yourself and journaling, or really, trying to take a good, bath soak, a good salt bath even, and, setting intentions to heal throughout your dreams that night. This can be a time where if you're a poet or you're a person who really connects through art, maybe you are a painter, this is a great full moon for working it out and putting those emotions out and really sitting with them. Moving into other aspects that are extremely important. We've got the sun and Mercury, as you can see here together, both in the sign of Pisces, very, very close. So this sun-Mercury conjunction, anytime Mercury and the sun come together, it is really a double down on the energy and the focus of the power, which is very much a sun aspect, and Mercury about our thoughts and our communication. So it's funny because we always say where energy goes, or where attention flows, or where what is it? Where attention flows, energy goes, or where energy goes, attention flows, whatever it is, that is very much the energy of Sun conjunct Mercury in Pisces. What have you been giving your attention and energy to? What have you been giving your spirit to? What have you been giving your service to? Because we are talking about this Pisces Virgo axis, which is an axis of service at its core. What are we feeding into, and what is it integrating further about ourselves? At the core, a lot of this full moon is going to take place with regard to conscious and subconscious levels of thought. Pisces is a sign that heavily delves in the subconscious. Another reason that I brought up this Sun Mercury has a lot to do with, I think that many of us are going to be getting information, certainly, like I said, from dreams. Those of you who meditate, maybe some of you have spiritual mentors, you might be getting information that really is important about your spiritual journey and really about your journey in life as a whole during this time, that calls your intention inward and really calls you to potentially set new intentions for where you're going to be placing your outward attention and outward, force of energy to the public and with regard to yourself. This is a time where you really are thinking about the journey that has gone by, the journey that is maybe even ahead. Once again, really making sure you're paying attention to what you've experienced these last 12 months as kind of a marker for information that you need to receive. Moving into that, as you see, Mercury is opposite the moon. So We are also going to be thinking a lot about or really focusing in a lot on maybe what we haven't been focusing on up until this point. Mercury and Pisces can sometimes skirt around being able to focus on the details because it's so expansive. You know, how we get to the destination doesn't really matter. Virgo disagrees with that, right? Virgo says, no, 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 we need to follow the map. We need to be able to tell another person how to get to this same destination, right? So that kind of stuff is not going to work. If you've been avoidant of really taking that hard look at your processes and the way that you do go about functioning between your thoughts and the actions that take place after, you are going to be called to the carpet on that by that Virgo full moon. Additionally, as you see, the sun is conjunct Saturn. We've got the sun and Saturn sitting really close to one another. And when the sun and Saturn come together, you know, it's a time where we are, I mean, you can't get much more sober than sun Saturn. And I think that that's really funny with this Piscean energy, because I think a lot of people, we've heard since Saturn has gone into Pisces, people have really been changing their relationship with substances, and certainly substances that take them out of their body or out of their mind. Well, when the sun and Saturn meet up, we are forced to reconcile not only with the reality of what is happening, but, you know, the reality of what has taken place to get us to the current state that we're in. So this can be a period where we're like, oh man, you know, I guess I really should have done that thing and then I'd be here, or I should have taken that leap and then I'd be there. So this can be a time where you're forced to kind of sit and think really hard about how you have maybe traveled with less direction than you should have up to this point. And ultimately, you're being gifted an opportunity to see what kind of details you need to fill in those gaps that are going to behoove you. This is where the sun opposite the Virgo moon and Saturn opposite the moon are going to show you. Now, to kind of talk about moon opposite Saturn, because I think this is where a lot of the emotional energy is going to be coming from. You know, Virgo moon is really, it's a tough moon to have because even though it's mercurial and it's great at understanding where its emotions coming from, it's not really great at feeling things. And with that Saturn opposite moon, I think you are either going to be pushed to the depth of your emotions of, oh my God, I haven't been allowing myself to feel things, or you're going to be like, I've actually been allowing my feelings to take over too much of my life. And I'm starting to see the way it's manifesting in my reality. This goes back into what I'm saying about the subconscious and conscious. I think when we see the Virgo and Piscean axes as a whole, we are thinking a lot about what is in our past, what we kind of secretly hold, that Piscean kind of 12th house energy that we attach to Pisces placements. And then we have the Virgo energy, which is the habit, the consciousness, the details, the routines, which we attach to that Virgo and kind of that day-to-day energy. So when we're thinking about it in those terms, we are saying, well, what have we gone about implementing in our day-to-day lives? And what messages are we sending to ourselves through the subconscious actions that we are taking? How are they consciously manifesting, right? If I am saying I really, you know, I use this example when I did another talk on this. If I'm saying I really want to lose weight, but I'm secretly hating my body, and then, you know, what does that mean in my day-to-day life? Well, if I hate my body, every time I go to get up to get my gym clothes on, am I going to feel like it, or am I going to talk myself out of it? Am I going to eat right if I'm consciously reinforcing the idea that my body sucks and I'm unhappy? No, I'm not going to do that. So this is your opportunity to say, is that really how I want to do things? Is that how I want to move forward? Am I helping myself or hurting myself by my thoughts and by the subconscious beliefs that I am reinforcing? I always say, because when I talk to my clients, you know, it's like, well, Shantae, my birth chart says this, so this is the way it is. And it's like, hey, man, I know that our charts and sometimes even our lives, right, and the experiences that we have throughout our lives reinforce beliefs that are not always serving us to the in our best interest. And I think that this full moon is that opportunity for you to take that time to acknowledge, am I really thinking about this thing in a way that is not behooving my growth or movement forward or update in my conscious reality, right? If I say I want to feel better every day, then there are certain steps I need to take. If I want to feel better every day, maybe I should start with having a better nighttime ritual. That way, when I wake up in the morning first thing, I don't feel like tired and groggy and annoyed. Maybe I eat better foods throughout the course of my day. So that way I'm not feeling like I'm stuffed or I'm going to bed with a whole bunch of food in my stomach, which is causing me to wake up with a heavy feeling and not feel so great. It's a process. And I think that overall, we're getting to terms with the processes that are either pouring into us or, depleting us of our energetic resources. And I think that that goes into the importance of boundaries that we're all going to be experiencing during this full moon. Do we have the boundaries necessary to sustain us, right? To make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, to make sure that we're giving ourselves what we need. And for some of us who have been really doing the work, we're getting opportunities to be supportive to people who need those things. Maybe you are in position to deal with your friend who's dealing with a lot of grief right now, right? Maybe you are in position to help your friend create a better schedule for themselves, create a better budget for themselves. This partially, though, has to come from someone saying they need help, right? Not you saying, I think you need me to do this, so let me jump in it. That's the point of the boundary here that's being asserted. What do you need? What do they need? And how can you go about meeting said need? I'm trying to think of other things. So let's talk about like some of the easier aspects of this full moon in Virgo. First of all, as you can see, we still have Saturn and Jupiter in this awesome sextile. So we really still are in a great position for manifesting. Excuse me. There is a lot of stuff that if we do pay attention to this sober moment that we're experiencing, this stark realization of what we're being shown, we can actually throw away the crap we don't need and grow something really abundant and beautiful. To me, Piscean and Taurus aspects are some of my favorite in people because it's an aspect, first of all, of beauty. You guys know I'm a Venusian queen, but outside of that, it also is just an aspect of art, of creativity, of like fruitfulness, really being able to create and build and structure your dreams around the comfort of your life, right? Saturn is that structure. So you have this reality in your head of your personal oasis, right? Okay, but Taurus energy with the Jupiter aspect there is coming in to help you build it and make it last long, make it stable, make it comfortable, make it beautiful. So really, this full moon is, if you're seeing something you don't like, that is your opportunity to make something beautiful and better out of it, despite what you've gotten thus far. Other aspects of this full moon that I think are important. As you can see, we do have Mars in Aquarius as well as Venus in Aquarius. They're both in conjunction still, and they're going to be squaring off with this Jupiter energy. So a lot of this, fixed sign squares, I think, are some of the toughest squares in the zodiac because both, especially in Aquarius and Taurus, they are both so goddamn stubborn. And neither of them really wants to budge for the other because they feel like they're letting something go. One marker of full or fixed sign energy that I always think about is, a lot of times fixed signs think that moving over, they're boulders, right? So it's like they think that if they move over just an inch, that they're going to tumble downhill and never be able to recover, when really they can shift a little bit and they'll be just fine. And I think that that's what you're being asked to do with Mars, Venus square Jupiter. What minute shift can you create in your reality, in your life, that's going to behoove whatever you're trying to grow? Especially because we have Venus and Mars occupying the same sign right now. With Venus and Mars in the sign of Aquarius, we are thinking a lot about what is good for us and what helps us and what makes us us, right? On a very individual note. But we're also recognizing what is maybe taking away from that possibility. Are there people, are there groups, are there ideas that are draining us or stopping us from being our most authentic self? And Mars is there and helps us cut things out that aren't giving. So with that Venus and Mars square Jupiter, those little small shifts can pay off quite literally, because Jupiter is in the money sign of Taurus, in the long run in greater ways than you would think. Some of this has to do with like organization, personal taste. This even has to do with like money and banking. I know I mentioned budgeting, but I always think when like the moon, if full moon is in Virgo, I mean, think about it. You know, we're at the end of the year on an astrological note. Maybe you're like, what do I want to do over the course of the astrological year of 2024? Well, I want to go visit Oaxaca for like a week and a half. So I maybe need to create the budget in my life to sustain that visit so that way I can enjoy it the way I'd like it to be enjoyed. Those are some of those little things that can come up. It also speaks to upgrading. You know, Jupiter and Taurus, one thing about Taurus energy, once they are sure that they're comfortable, they don't give a damn what anybody else thinks about that metric of comfort. But Venus and Mars and Aquarius are here to show you, but we can make it better. There's more of that. And if your energy is willing to trust that that minor shift will bring you more of the good stuff, then you will certainly be able to receive it. I guess the last little minor aspect is the moon is in a trine to Jupiter. And to be honest, guys, moon Jupiter aspects are a flip of the coin. Because because Jupiter touches everything Jupiter touches, it expands. If this full moon in Virgo is hard for you, this Jupiter expansion might make it even more hard. If this full moon in Virgo is nice for you, this Jupiter and Taurus might make it even easier and nicer for you. In any event, you could find that you're really bogged down by things like physical, like money, and things like work, or things like your comfort level and your body. A big aspect, a big part of this full moon has to do with our physical bodies. So I would also caution you, if you're doing any traveling or anything along those lines, continue to mask up, guys. It is wild out there. But there's a lot that you can do, I think, with this moon trine Jupiter. You can set some new intentions for, creating a better relationship to your routine and a better relationship to your day-to-day. Like I said about sleep early on, right? In order for me to feel better when I wake up in the morning, I might need to get better sleep at night and have a better nighttime ritual. I might need to have a better day ritual in order to make sure that in the middle of my day, I don't get freaking tired and lose all track of what it is that I'm supposed to be getting done, right? These are all of the things that come up. So I think that's really all I've got for this Virgo full moon. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, I am Shantae. I go by Shantae Out Loud. It has been awesome helping you guys out with the astrology. Follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, here on YouTube, Shantae Out Loud. I'm Shantae Out Loud everywhere because I'm Shantae Out Loud everywhere. So feel free to check me out. Tell your friends you can book with me because I do have available bookings, and you can certainly patron with me because I do have those available as well. My Patreon starts at just $5 a tier, and you get to learn astrology with me. So do it and you'll love it. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you soon.